Now that student resource officers are returning to Charlottesville City Schools, the new question becomes who pays for all of it. We hear from Charlottesville's police chief just ahead. And Virginia Democrats passing legislation in the General Assembly are suffering veto after veto by the governor's pen. Coming up, what's happening at the Capitol. Plus, harmful information about how to prevent measles is spreading quickly. We hear from the director of UVA Health about the best ways to stay measles-free. Coming up.
You're watching Charlottesville's most experienced news team. This is 29 News at 6.
Resource officers heading back into Charlottesville schools means a new responsibility on the police's plate.
Maggie Glass sat down with Chief Michael Conscious to hear how SROs will affect his department. She's live in the newsroom now. It's our top story at 6.
Jacob and Aaron, Chief Conscious told me he gets asked all the time when officers will be back in the schools. While ultimately it will be his responsibility to find the right people for the job, he says these early choices about SROs are up to the school division.
The decision to put officers back into schools is the school board's policy decision and their policy decision alone.
Now that the school board has made that decision, the process begins with the police department coming up with a plan to make it work.
But that work group's going to have to include not only members of the police department, but folks from the schools. I envision having someone from the school board on that, maybe someone from the community. Whatever model we develop in the area of SROs needs to be unique to Charlottesville.
After that's created, the money for the officers will need to be found. It's a fiscal responsibility Conscious says the school division will have to work out in its annual budget request to the city.
It all comes from the same pot, one way or the other.
The chief would not speculate about an exact cost, but figures he presented to the school board a year ago put the one-time hiring cost for 3 officers at $571,000 and then $340,000 each year moving forward. There's also the question of how the police department will fill the resource officer roles.
We don't know how many officers we're going to need because that model is going to determine that.
Conscious says he understands the public concerns about officers being back inside the schools, but adds there's a benefit in seeing a familiar face associated with a badge.
I think relationships matter. Relationships at an early age matter as well.
A memorandum of understanding is expected to be presented to the board by next October. Live in the newsroom, Maggie Glass, 29 News at 6.
Thank you, Maggie. All Virginia schools will soon have cardiac emergency response plans in place. Governor Glenn Youngkin signed the measure into law requiring school divisions to come up with a plan if someone starts to suffer from cardiac arrest. The American Heart Association is one of the organizations who supported the bill during General Assembly and will be there to help schools apply this to their classrooms.
We have resources, we have templates, we have a bunch of data and information available to help these schools implement these plans, and we're more than happy to be that valuable resource to them.
This comes 2 years after Virginia lawmakers signed a measure requiring AED units in public schools. The new law takes effect on July 1st.
Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger has officially secured the Democratic nomination for Virginia's next governor. In a statement, she thanked supporters and pledged to focus on key issues like education, affordability, and public safety. Spanberger says she's ready to take on the challenges facing Virginians and will work to earn voters' trust ahead of November's election. Virginia lawmakers are considering the results of their veto session, addressing the governor's changes and objections for more than 100 bills that were returned to them. As Kate Nectarline shows us, even at the state level, some say the White House carried political weight in Richmond. Kate?
That's right, Jacob. I spoke with legislators from both political parties. The one thing they agree on is that there was not much budging from either side of the aisle.
It was definitely more political this year. Many of the bills had actually been unanimously supported, or at least 60 votes or more, and the governor still amended or vetoed them.
Amy Laufer is the Democratic delegate for Virginia's 55th district. She says Republicans did not join attempts to override vetoes of these bills. Democratic delegate Katrina Carlson, who represents the neighboring 54th, says she has an idea why.
State Republican Party is seemingly afraid of Trump, and because of that, we're not taking action on otherwise bills that have broad bipartisan appeal.
Both Coulson and Lawfer say they were disappointed by the high number of vetoes. On the other side of the aisle, Governor Youngkin's effort to halt legislation was a plus, not a minus.
I would like to see us do a little better job of protecting things like Second Amendment rights and gun rights. Fortunately, Governor Youngkin's veto pen intervened on the behalf of those of us who believe those are important and constitutional things.
Republican State Senator Luther Cyphers represents Virginia's 10th district. He says he was able to help pass a bill protecting students' internet security, but was unable to pass what he says is crucial legislation to make the Earned Income Tax Credit permanent for Virginians.
So that was a big disappointment. It's tough being in the minority in a legislature that frankly is in a really progressive stance right now. So my hope is that we chip away at that and bring some sanity back to Virginia.
Those in the majority, though, are hoping that the next governor will express concerns sooner rather than later.
But if you wait and you don't say anything and then you veto legislation, you run into what we're seeing, which is we're just not taking action. And Virginians need help on things now.
Governor Youngkin gets 30 days to take final action on these bills and budget amendments that have now been sent back to his desk. Live in studio, Kate Nectarline, 29 News at 6.
Kate, thank you. A resolution to undo President Trump's tariffs on Canadian products passed in the Senate. The Senate voted 51-48 on a resolution authored by Virginia U.S. Senator Tim Kaine. Yesterday, President Trump announced his plan to hit all foreign trading partners with sweeping tariffs. Kaine says taxing one of Virginia's top trading partners could have costly impacts on American families and businesses.
I have to get it through the House now, so I'm going to focus on that. By the time we work this through, I think we're going to pick up a lot more votes against the president's reckless policy.
The resolution needed a majority to pass, meaning all 47 Democrats were in favor and 4 Republicans were also on board. Former Albemarle County Prosecutor Robert Tracy is being recommended for the U.S. Attorney's job in the Western District of Virginia. The suggestion to the White House for nomination comes from both of Virginia's U.S. Senators, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine. Tracy was elected as Albemarle County's Commonwealth's attorney in 2015 and served 1 term. Right now, he's a senior prosecutor in the State Attorney General's office for major crimes and emerging threats.
UVA Health's Blue Ridge Poison Center is sounding the alarm on a fad that is gaining a lot of attention. It says misinformation is being spread on how to prevent and treat measles. Maya Mitchell's live in studio with the details.
Measles cases are surging around the U.S., causing some people to try out at-home remedies to stay healthy. The Blue Ridge Poison Center says some people are overdosing on one vitamin that could cause health problems.
Measles cases are surging around the country. Now, UVA Health's Blue Ridge Poison Center is warning against an incorrect social media cure using vitamin A to prevent or treat the virus.
We're watching that trend very closely now since this has started to get into the media more. People are talking about this.
Christopher Holsteg is the Poison Center's medical director. While vitamin A has been used to help some patients, he says it is not a cure and too much of the vitamin could bring more harm than good. Overconsumption can cause vitamin A poisoning and liver damage, among other health issues.
Vitamin A is an essential vitamin, but as with everything in toxicity, it's all about the dose and how much people take and over what time period. And
poison centers across the U.S. see reportedly 400 to 500 vitamin A poisoning calls a year. Holsteg is hoping to avoid seeing this trend here.
We certainly don't want to see this occur in our population in Virginia with children or with adults.
The Poison Center says the best way to prevent getting measles is by getting vaccinated. Live in studio, Amaya Mitchell, 29 News at 6.
Thank you, Amaya. For the 6th year, Charlottesville-based Crutchfield Corporation has been named one of the best places to work in the Commonwealth. That's according to a list made by Virginia Business Magazine based on 70 question surveys taken by employees. The founder of the tech seller, Bill Crutchfield, says the key to the company's success has been its more than 600 employees, most of whom stay with the company for many years.
We've had a very rich culture since the beginning. And it's based around certain core values. One of those core values is respect for our employees, and we respect people, and we treat them with civility.
In its 51 years, the company has never had layoffs. Crutchfield says its policies like dogs allowed in the office and mutual respect that puts them on the list again and again.
Albemarle County supervisors are looking towards the next 6 years of improvements on what's considered as secondary roads. Between 2026 and 2031, a draft proposal is recommending spending $7.3 million to make that happen. That includes maintenance and paving on a number of rural roads. It also lists out some roads neighbors have said they do not want paved. The Virginia Department of Transportation would be responsible for the construction. And lots of Wawa lovers gathered at 5th Street earlier today to celebrate the popular gas station's newest location.
Just ahead, we'll take you to the grand opening and hear from customers who just couldn't wait to give it a try.
And that big spring warm-up got underway today. Look at some of the high temperatures across the region. We're tracking the warmth and tracking some shower and storm chances. Your full forecast is on the way.
The race for Virginia's governor's seat is heating up. Democrats have already announced their nominee, but on the Republican side, 2 candidates have filed the paperwork. Coming up, how a GOP primary could affect the race. And a major disruption in Albemarle County this morning as the 911 communication center was down for hours. Coming up, what caused the outage? Plus, thousands will hit the streets for the Charlottesville Marathon. Coming up, what areas to look out for if you want to beat the traffic.
You're watching Charlottesville's most experienced news team. This is 29 News at 6.
A Republican primary election for the 2025 race to be Virginia's next governor is up in the air.
Democrats have already announced their nominee, but on the Republican side, 2 candidates have filed the paperwork. Maggie Glass is live in the newsroom with more. It's our top story at 6.
Abigail Spanberger and Winsome Earl Sears have been in the governor's race for a while now. A last-minute entry by Amanda Chase may still mean a GOP battle come June, but lingering questions remain if she met all the requirements to run. Former Virginia State Senator Amanda Chase is not giving up on being a candidate for Virginia's next governor, but even she is unsure if she will make it into the race, saying over the phone on Friday she cannot confirm how many signatures she got. It's a tough place for any candidate, according to UVA Center for Politics Director Larry Sabato.
She didn't get many more than the minimum required. And the usual rule of thumb is you get at least 50% more than you need.
In addition to the 10,000 total signatures every candidate needs, they also have to get 400 valid registered voters in each of Virginia's congressional districts.
Incumbents always know they can get those signatures. It's the challengers who have the problem.
Still, a GOP primary race for governor is not yet out of the question. It's a costly battle between candidates that Democratic nominee Abigail Spanberger gets to avoid.
It causes a candidate to spend money they'd prefer to save for the general election. It takes time and energy. There are negative charges that could be put into general election TV ads.
The Virginia Republican Party has a few days to tally up all the signatures. But even if Chase skates by with enough, Sabato believes she's far from a favorite.
The state party is clearly more in favor of Winsome Earl Sears because she's the incumbent lieutenant governor and she is the choice of Governor Youngkin.
Earl Sears says she raised around $3.1 million in this year's first quarter reporting period. No other candidate has released this information yet. Live in the newsroom, Maggie Glass, 29 News at 6.
Maggie, thank you. For a few hours early this morning, the Charlottesville, UVA, and Albemarle County Emergency Communications Center suffered from a service outage experienced by its provider, Brightspeed. The outage affected 911 calls, among other issues. Issues lasted between 12:30 in the morning until 4:30 before Brightspeed fixed the problem. Despite the outage, the communications center says it remained fully operational.
Our public safety communications officers immediately implemented our contingency measures, which included backup cell phones so that we could call back any incomplete connections. And in addition, our local police and fire stations remained open for in-person emergency reporting.
The communications center says it's unaware of anyone who was not eventually able to connect through to it.
Charlottesville's Police Civilian Oversight Board is inviting the community for a town hall this month. The board works to ensure transparency and accountability between the police and the community. This town hall is a chance for you to voice your concerns about the board and the Charlottesville Police Department. There will be interpreters on site for Spanish speakers in the community.
We feel as a board that it's important for the citizens not only to know who we are and what we're doing, but also to express any concerns or suggestions they may have that'll help us improve the interactions between the citizens of Charlottesville and their police department.
The town hall will be held Tuesday, April 29th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Carver Recreation Center.
The Charlottesville Marathon is returning for its 22nd year tomorrow. 1,400 runners are expected to race across the full, half, and 8K categories. A spokesperson with Charlottesville says drivers should expect delays around the area from early morning to early afternoon. The only road closures will be at downtown at the race's start and finish line.
We're going to see the heaviest traffic between the times of 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. People should be cognizant, keep each other safe. When you get to that area, please slow down. We're going to have a lot of foot traffic.
Market Street from 1st to 3rd Street will be closed from 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Traffic can be expected along the course during that time as well. Road closures will be handled by Albemarle County and Charlottesville Police.
A new procedure is now being offered at UVA Health Culpeper Medical Center to help men dealing with bladder issues caused by enlarged prostates. Gabby Womack is live in the studio to tell us more about this procedure. Gabby.
Aaron, benign prostatic hyperplasia is a common condition affecting many men and causing bladder issues. One expert I spoke to says this treatment can make all the difference.
Very common disease. About half of us have growth of the prostate, and about half of those develop symptoms.
Dr. Greg Yor is a urologist with UVA Health. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, is when an enlarged prostate puts pressure on the urethra, causing bladder issues. Dr. Yor says many men avoid treatment because of side effects.
It's tougher to help them or recover things if they wait too long.
BPH is progressive, so catching it early is crucial. Now, with a new treatment option called aquablation, it uses a water jet to remove excess tissue, a more precise way to fight the root of the problem.
There's no cutting, no sutures, no lasers. You're safely and effectively removing that tissue with less side effects.
Dr. Yor understands how nerve-wracking visits can be, but he says it doesn't have to.
Just because you're aging, you don't have to put up with it. That there are very effective treatment options. So come in.
Dr. Yor says this procedure is 85 to 95% effective. If you're interested in learning more about signing up for the procedure, you can go to our website. Live in the studio, Gabby Womack, 29 News at 6.
Thank you, Gabby. One of Charlottesville's overnight shelters is continuing to see an increase in the number of people who need a place to sleep. Kate Nectarline spoke with Salvation Army and shows us what is driving this uptick.
Temperatures are now hitting the 80s and any snow is long gone, but that does not mean that fewer people are seeking shelter here, at least not yet.
Our numbers are continuing to grow because I think people haven't totally decided that it's going to be warm yet. When warm season hits, there's more encampments.
Sandy Jericho is the director of social services with the Salvation Army. She says it's typical for them not to see a drop in numbers until late spring. The winter as a whole, though, saw a higher than normal number of people requiring a bed thanks to multiple snowstorms.
It was like all hands on deck, and we continued. We didn't miss a meal. Our doors were open, our lights were on.
Jericho also says this winter looked fairly different from the last, and not only because of the snow.
This year we've had a lot more females than we typically have. Another thing that we've seen more and more this year is we have a lot more geriatric residents. A lot of folks on canes, are unhoused and have nowhere to go.
Jericho says the number of families seeking shelter is also seemingly on the rise. Though the Salvation Army does not currently host families, Jericho says they are planning to expand this building and ultimately offer transitional housing. In the meantime, Jericho says it's business as usual here on Ridge Street.
I think we all learn from season to season. We've got a good team here.
Kate Nectarline, 29 News.
A parent's worst nightmare caught on camera in Virginia.
After the break, we'll show you how an incident at a daycare led to a state investigation.
Another warm spring day. We've had just a few showers, but how's this first weekend of April shaping up, and what's our best chance of rain? Your forecast is on the way.
How you can qualify. Live in the newsroom, Gabby Womack, 29 News at 4.
Rescuers are desperately searching for survivors more than 3 days after a powerful earthquake struck Myanmar in Southeast Asia. More than 2,000 people are now confirmed dead. Buildings as far away as the Thai capital Bangkok collapsed and sent tremors through nearby Chinese provinces. Lee Waldman has new details.
It's a race against the clock in Myanmar and Thailand to find people trapped beneath the rubble of collapsed buildings.
It's a very chaotic condition at this moment. However, we try to manage as much as we can, and also these fire service departments are working 24 hours in this day to catch up the golden hour, 72 hours.
The first 72 hours after a quake are known as the golden window to reach victims buried alive under debris. After that, chances of survival without water quickly diminishes. This is the largest earthquake to hit the area in more than a century. Foreign aid and international rescue teams are arriving in Myanmar after a rare plea for help from the military junta, which has closed itself to the outside world.
The first international arriving is a China rescue team, and then later on followed by the other teams.
In Bangkok, hundreds of miles from the epicenter, devastating scenes where people were killed as buildings crumbled. Joshua Fekete and his family moved there from Georgia a little over a week ago. Fekete was awaiting emergency surgery when the earthquake hit.
We were supposed to go back for treatment, but they had to move the patients outside in the parking lot in the beds, and that was frightening.
The United States Geological Survey estimates the final death toll could surpass 10,000 based on early modeling.
I'm Lee Waldman with 29 News.
The bodies of 3 U.S. soldiers reported missing in Lithuania last week have been recovered. The military says search and rescue operations continue to find the 4th soldier. Their vehicle was found submerged in a bog in a training area. The soldiers were on a maintenance training mission, recovering another U.S. vehicle.
French opposition leader Marine Le Pen has been convicted of embezzlement by a Paris court today. She's been banned from running for political office for 5 years, blocking her from the 2027 presidential race. Le Pen was found guilty of misusing European Parliament funds to pay staff working for her national rally party in France. The ruling has triggered backlash from conservative allies. Well, whether they're lovable duos or even your favorite entree, the Charlottesville Albemarle SPCA has the perfect furry friend for you.
Ahead at 4, we'll meet a few new residents, and here are some tips for the upcoming Bow Wow Walk.
Join us today as we share an old world recipe for pierogies that I'm sure you're going to love. I know I do.
You make everything harder.
You're a pest.
Nobody wants you, nobody likes you.
You are just full of raising questions and never having an answer.
If I can face MS, I can face anything.
A cure for me would be to go back to where I was.
A cure would stop you dead in your tracks.
And when we get you, it's going to be a great day.
It ends here.
MS ends with us.
You see the highlights, but do you know the stories? Flame Central goes deeper than just home runs and touchdowns. We give you a glimpse into the lives of Liberty Flames athletes and coaches. Their stories of trials and triumphs. It's your home for Liberty University athletics. Flame Central, the stories, the purpose, the Flames.
29 News is your news.
It's our privilege to bring you the stories from our community all day, every day.
Thank you for counting on us.
News Nation's The Hill Sunday with Chris Starwalt.
We in the news business have to be held to a higher standard when it comes to honesty, when it comes to accuracy, when it comes to fairness.
The Hill Sunday with Chris Starwalt. Sunday, 11:10 Central on the CW.
Hurry into the Nissan Now sales event to save on an award-winning new Nissan like Kicks, J.D. Power's most dependable small SUV, Sentra, a Consumer Reports top pick, and Rogue, a Consumer Guide Best Buy 11 years in a row. All for under $30,000 at the Nissan Now sales event. Now get a low $279 per month lease or get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue.
Every evening, 29 News is uncovering breaking stories that impact Central Virginia. 29 News, working for you every night at 11.
Well, Lady Gaga's new album is out and it's all about the mayhem, but a surf shop in California says the album's logo looks too much like theirs.
And they're now suing for trademark infringement. Michelle Guile has the story.
He is using resin to saturate the fiberglass.
San Clemente's Lost Surfboards by Mayhem prides itself on being a niche brand.
We've been building Lost Mayhem boards here every day for almost 40 years now.
Head shaper Matt Biolis says his company's products and accessories cater to surfers, skaters, and snowboarders, which is why he's suing Lady Gaga for trademark infringement.
Thank you for supporting music.
Mayhem is the name of the superstar's latest album and concert tour. Gaga's Mayhem logo is on merchandise like t-shirts and hoodies. It's here on the left with obvious similarities to Lost Surfboards' trademarked Mayhem logo.
Surfers, skaters, and snowboarders, they don't want to be associated with so much corporate pop culture. So if all these little Gaga people are running around wearing a Mayhem shirt, my name on it, in mainstream life, it makes our stuff not as cool and not as renegade.
Before filing the suit, Biolis says he and his lawyer reached out to representatives of Lady Gaga.
And they just kind of laughed at us and said, you're nobody, you don't have any rights. And we're like, well, we feel we do, and they wouldn't talk to us.
Los Angeles attorney Lou Shapiro, who is not connected to the case, says the court has a few factors to look at.
Is there a similarity between the logos? Which, yes, there's definitely very similar here. So the next thing the court looks at is there a likelihood of confusion? Will a consumer accidentally buy Lady Gaga's product when they're really trying to buy this other beach store's product? That's going to be an important factor.
Biolos hopes the lawsuit against Lady Gaga will prevent her from diluting the reputation of his alternative brand.
We don't want her money, okay? We want her to stop. We want her to not make any merch with our name on it. We're happy to be a small brand that thrives and cruises in the underground.
That was Michelle Guile reporting. And the FCC is investigating ABC and its parent company Disney over diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. The FCC wants to make sure Disney and ABC's have not violated equal employment law by promoting DEI discrimination. The probe is the latest escalation in the Trump administration's crackdown on diversity programs in private American companies.
Elon Musk says he sold his social media company X to his artificial intelligence company xAI. The deal valued X at $33 billion. While that is lower than what he paid for it in 2022, it is more than its valuation was a few months ago. Musk said the new combined company is valued at $80 billion. xAI's quote, Grok chatbot is already integrated into the social media platform.
A crew of 4 passengers set to travel aboard a SpaceX capsule to Earth's frigid north and south poles. It will mark the first time humans have flown such a mission. Cryptocurrency billionaire Chun Wang will be joined by 3 polar explorers. The group is slated to lift off from a launch pad in Florida tonight. They are expected to spend 3 to 5 days in space gathering health data. Well, Howard is making a plate of perfect pierogies as he begins a week of dishes from around the world.
Hey, I'm glad you're here, because all this week in the Test Kitchen, we're taking a tasty trip around the globe. To start things off, today we're whipping up a recipe from Eastern Europe. It's pretty obvious what it is. Pierogies. The first thing we do is boil some potatoes for the filling. While those cook, we saute a few chopped onions. After draining and mashing the potatoes, we add some of the sauteed onions to them, along with some cheddar cheese and a bit of salt and pepper. Then we take our homemade dough, which is simply some eggs and sour cream mixed with our typical dry ingredients, and roll it out until it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. Then, with a 3-inch cookie or biscuit cutter, we cut out circles and place a spoonful of the potato mixture on each one, folding the dough over the filling and sealing the edges. They even make gadgets like this to help you do it. Once all the pierogies are made, we'll boil them, drain them, and add them to the rest of our onions. Let me tell you, there's nothing like homemade pierogies. With the flavor-packed potato filling, the tender as can be dough, and the sweet caramelized onions. It's no wonder why I married a nice Polish gal. To get the recipe for our old-fashioned pierogies, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an old world way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
And once again, here's your question of the day. How many crayons were included in the first box of Crayola crayons? The answer is 8. The first box came out in 1903 and contained 8 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, black, and brown. By 1905, they introduced packs of up to 30 different colors. Since then, Crayola has created and retired hundreds of different shades.
First Alert Weather Day continues for several more hours early tonight as we watch showers and thunderstorms just be getting going. Will continue to spread off to the north and east. The latest on our forecast is coming up.
When the fridge breaks at the worst time, even if you didn't ask, Dad has the answer.
Or when you're second guessing a big purchase like a car, Dad is definitely getting a call. Or when trying to choose the safest, best option, Dad is there to help get it right. And Consumer Reports is too. Helping everyone, not just dads. Make smarter choices. Join at cr.org.
Join 29 News viewers on a holiday vacations tour. Explore Bryce, Zion, and the Grand Canyon October 11th to the 20th. Immerse yourself in the scenic beauty of 4 iconic national parks. Enjoy sweeping panoramas and otherworldly rock formations in these one-of-a-kind locations. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword 29 News to request a brochure, to watch a travel show, and to book this tour.
A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
Scary that it can be put into anything, and we can't even see it or notice it.
Now, from the UVA Community Credit Union Weather Center, here is the 29 First Alert forecast.
Welcome back. There is the view outside our studios here on East Market Street. You can certainly see the flags flying high as those winds are generally out of the south. We've clouded over since earlier in the day when we had abundant sunshine. That's a high overcast. There's some cumulus clouds underneath that high overcast, and there are storms off to our south and west. Let's first of all take a look at some of the numbers across the region. Again, plenty warm. Our average daytime highs in the mid-60s. We're back well in the 70s, low 80s here this afternoon, and we've been warm really since Friday throughout the weekend, all ahead of this advancing cold front that continues to work in our direction. Still outlooked for severe potential over the next several hours, and we could still have a severe thunderstorm watch box either issued for all or portions of the area for several hours here this evening and early tonight. You can see Doppler radar starting to fill in a bit more, watching a stronger storm that's basically right either side of the Blue Ridge Mountains. This is basically out toward Bedford County, Rockbridge County, working up into Amherst. It's had some 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts, some occasional lightning. You can certainly see some heavy downpours in association with that, and that's going to be the case here as this overspreads an area that hasn't seen any rain yet. And so any of these storms could certainly go strong to severe. Now, Now, just to our south, there is a severe thunderstorm watch box. There are numerous ones, but we've got several hours for this to traverse across the region, all in advance of a cold front, which is still just basically east of the Ohio River at this hour. So this is a model, a simulation of the radar as we get closer toward 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and put this in motion, and you can see these storms that are firing and overspreading the region. There'll be downpours, there'll be lightning. Some of these storms could go strong to severe, and say by 8, 9 o'clock, the line's really pushing off into the east of Route 15, and we'll start to see some gradual clearing overnight. The winds will pick up out of the northwest, and it'll be a cooler but more seasonable day as we roll into Tuesday. But early on tonight, that severe risk still continues, and then we'll start to see gradual clearing overnight with temperatures in the 40s. There's your planner for Tuesday. Lots of sunshine. Again, a lot more seasonable as we kick off April. High temperatures for most of us will top out in the mid-60s. We'll have a little bit more cloud cover or variably cloudy skies on Wednesday. And then as we get toward the late week, temperatures come right back up. We're going to have a front nearby. It's going to play cat and mouse with us. And as we go into the weekend, it'll still serve as a focus for some showers and storms. So we'll monitor that over the next several days. Sort of that front, here we are later on Thursday and Friday. It kind of either oscillates back farther south or farther north, and it'll be the focus for at least some showers and storms. But we should still see some fairly warm temperatures above average as we go through that stretch. But tonight, it's all about the cold front that we've been following for several days. Look at all the severe thunderstorm watch boxes through the Carolinas, back into Georgia. Again, look at that line that's quickly closing in on Charlotte and Columbia. That's going to race off to the north and east. Here's a line across southeastern Georgia over into portions of northern Florida that's racing toward the coast tonight. And so we could still have a watch box issued for portions of the mid-Atlantic as this line that I just showed you starting to queue up. By morning, again, we'll start in the 40s. It's a cooler but more seasonable day with highs in the 60s. And then as we roll into Wednesday, we'll call it mostly to variably cloudy skies during the day with temperatures pretty much holding in the 60s as well. So for tonight, that first alert weather continues for several more hours. Showers and thunderstorms, that risk for severe is still there until about 8, 9 o'clock. And there's a look at the Michael and Son 7-day forecast. Briefly cooler but seasonable, and then late week warmth along with some unsettled conditions with some showers and storms.
What's for dinner? Shop Kroger for appetizing ingredients and big savings, like $600 in digital coupons and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Sexual assault may seem like it's only in the news, but unfortunately it happens every day. If you or someone older or younger has been the victim of sexual abuse, do not delay. Call the experienced assault attorneys at Marks & Harrison. You may be entitled to significant compensation.
I knew they could get me the justice I deserved.
To make sure it doesn't happen to someone else.
Call now for a confidential, free consultation. Marks & Harrison, where there's always someone to talk to.
Weight loss medications you can actually afford? Yes. At Zelpy, providers can prescribe GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Wegovy that are 90% less expensive. All 100% online, shipped directly to your door. That's right, GLP-1s for as little as $25 a month.
I found Zelpy. I've lost almost 70 pounds. I feel so much more confident now.
Go to tryzelpy.com now and get GLP-1s for as little as $25 a month. Go to tryzelpy.com. Tryzelpy.com.
Join us for the 24th Annual Hospice of the Piedmont 5K Run and Walk on Saturday, May 10th at the beautiful grounds of Keswick Estate. This event welcomes runners and walkers of all abilities, offering a fun and healthy way to support our community nonprofit that has served Central Virginia for 45 years. At Hospice of the Piedmont, we believe in making every moment count. To learn more and register, visit hopva.org/5K.
Kroger Boost makes saving easy. With 2 times fuel points, unlimited free delivery, and your choice of Disney Plus, Hulu, or ESPN Plus on us. Discover all the easy ways to save when you enroll in Boost today. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome back. In our final community conversation, we are joined by Marissa Marston, social media and marketing specialist for the Charlottesville Albemarle SPCA. How's it going?
It is good. How are you?
Doing good. Welcome back. We know you like to come back and always give us some good updates on some of the pups that we got in store at the shelter. I guess talk to me a little bit more.
Yeah, so we have, of course, dogs, and more dogs. And with the better weather, warmer weather, it's a perfect time to adopt a dog now. So we are highlighting some of the dogs today. Bert and Ernie, they're actually a 12-year-old beagle mixed pair. They're bonded brothers. They live together their whole lives. They're very friendly, easy to walk, and love everybody. The next one is Lacey. She's a 3-year-old female cattle dog. She is great on leash, loves all the pets that you can give, and is very smart. And then Lola is a 3-year-old mixed breed who has done well with kids and other dogs in the past, and she is house trained. And then Ratatouille is a 2-year-old male hound, very sweet and gentle, and loves to lean against you for love and all the pets.
That's amazing. And not to be any, show any bias or anything, but Ratatouille, I just love the name.
Oh yeah, and I mean it fits him. So.
And I know we also have a cat there as well. You were talking about all the pups. Talk to me a little bit more about this cat.
Yeah, so actually last week we highlighted Patrick, who was our longest stay cat. He had been in our care for 150 days, and he was excitedly adopted over the weekend. So our next season feline resident is Butternut Squash. She is a 2-year-old female tortie. She arrived at the shelter back in October with her 3 kittens and a broken jaw, and now she is fully recovered and loves people, loves other cats, and loves laser toys. So she is ready to find her perfect match today.
That's amazing. That's like me. Whenever it comes to playing with cats, I'm always the type with the laser pointer to.
Well, then you should come to the doctor.
Yeah, well, before that, I know we have something coming up this Friday. I guess talk to me, share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we still have a few more slots for our Happy Tales half-day camp from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Friday. Kids ages 5 to 9 are encouraged to learn, play, and get to know some of our shelter pets, and you can sign up by visiting caspa.org/events or our Facebook page.
Awesome. And I know one of your guys' bigger events of the year, the Bow Wow Walk. I know you're here to share maybe some tips and tricks or anything like that.
Yeah, so we're under a month now from the 12th annual Bow Wow Walk on April 26th. And now is the perfect time to ramp up your fundraising and make an even bigger impact for animals in need. So make sure to visit caspa.org to register and create your fundraising team, and you can customize your profile to share why you're supporting CASPA and spread the word to your friends and family on social media.
Amazing. And also it's a fun event too, right? I've been to it in the past. It's just super fun to come on out to.
Super fun. Right? We got vendors, we got lots of dogs, we got more dogs. We got wonderful, the walk and the run, and we are looking forward to it.
Amazing.
Oh, and yummy food.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you so much, Marissa.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Back to you, Aaron.
Thank you both. At a 2019 tribute, Chadwick Boseman thanked Denzel Washington for his support, saying, "There's no Black Panther without Denzel Washington." Well, now it looks as if Washington will appear in that franchise. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
It's a great honor to be honored by him.
Back in November, Denzel Washington said he would play a part in Black Panther 3, which Marvel has yet to announce. Now Ryan Coogler, the director of that series, is confirming that, telling the Nightcap podcast, "I've been dying to work with Denzel, and I've got every intention of working with him on that movie. As long as he's interested, man, it's going to happen."
And then, all hell breaks loose.
Scott Derrickson has a new horror movie on deck. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the director and his writing and producing partner, C. Robert Cargill, are adapting the Christopher Golden novel Road of Bones. It's described as a supernatural thriller set in Siberia. Run, Chet, run. That's Chet Hanks of the country duo Something Out West channeling Forrest Gump in their latest music video, You Better Run. Chet's dad, Tom Hanks, Forrest himself, even makes an appearance on that iconic bus stop bench. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Today marks 30 years since the death of Tejano music icon Selena Quintanilla. Fans of the singer are honoring her by paying a visit to her gravesite and leaving behind flowers. Selena rose to fame in the early 1990s with her unique blend of Tejano, pop, cumbia, and other musical styles. She was just 23 when she was killed the following year by Yolanda Saldivar, the founder of Selena's fan club.
Legendary actor Richard Chamberlain has died. He passed away from complications following a stroke, according to his publicist. The Emmy-nominated actor and 1960s heartthrob rocketed to fame in the television medical drama Dr. Kildare. He also starred in two extremely popular miniseries, Shogun and The Thornbirds, among many other stage and film roles. He was 90 years old.
After 4 years of negotiations, faculty of Charlottesville City Schools are now